Hello, my name is Janie Keller, and this is a persuasive speech on why small business is important. Small business, is it really the thing of the past? After all, how can one expect to climb the corporate ladder and have a great job and a good career in a small town? Hey, without small business, small communities would cease to exist and we'd all be subjected to the big metropolis living. Many people gravitate toward the big city lifestyle because they're convinced that big cities have more to offer. Not me, and not always true. No thanks. We all have enough stress in our lives without having to keep up the big pace of city life. I used to live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and felt rushed and frantic all of the time. I could never wind down. For some, this lifestyle is exciting, and they love it. And I do find it humorous, though, when they get tired of all of that fast-paced, rushed living, and they figure out that bigger is not always better, and they come back to where their roots are, and they settle down. The minute my feet hit the floor, I immediately went into rush as fast as I can throughout my whole day when I lived in the Metroplex. Everybody at one point in time has dreamed about getting away, spreading their wings, getting as far away from home as they can, and making it big. And I couldn't wait to get as far away as I could, but it didn't take me very long to realize that this lifestyle is not for me. That's how I ended up in Plainview. You're probably asking by now what this possibly has to do with small business. Well, when I get finished, you'll hopefully understand how important small business really is and how much small communities depend on small business to survive. I do need to mention that I didn't just pack up and run to Plainview on a whim. I did my homework. I researched and I checked it out before I ever moved. I wanted to live in a place where people really cared about one another, where communities supported the citizens who lived there, and money was spent locally to help keep Plainview alive and healthy. I wanted to live in a place where the mom and pop cafes were still the hopping place to hang out. We have a few franchises here in town like Bells and Maurice's, United Supermarket, we have Chili's, we have several different franchises, but for the most part, the small businesses are owned by folks like Beverly and J.B. McCaskill at Grumpy's Grill. It's an old-fashioned mom-and-pop restaurant that knows what it means to support Plainview. Leal's Mexican food restaurant is also a family-owned restaurant that began in Muleshoe, Texas, a little bitty place just west of Plainview. They've been in business for several years now. According to money.usnews.com, many people seeking to own their own business believe that buying into a franchise is the way to go and it can be profitable. The problem this creates is twofold. Number one, you're still working for someone else, putting money in their pocket and not giving back to the community unless you make specific donations back to the place that you're living. And number two, you're not selling your own product. You're still selling something for somebody else. Owning a Chick-fil-A, hey, that would be awesome. But it's still someone else's stuff. Even though it can be beneficial to own a franchise business, don't forget it pushes the little guy out altogether. And it creates a hardship on the family-owned businesses. Point number two. As reported by smalltown.marketing.com, small communities depend on and survive on the revenue generated from people buying product locally. At the same time, remember that small business owners must learn to provide product that is in demand by the community. Figure out what your community needs and supply it for them. That's what helps a small business thrive and stay alive. The two work hand in hand in each other to keep community working like a well-oiled machine. When one part of that machine fails to function, the community feels the sting. We felt that when Cargill went out of business. Money spent locally, according to Time.com Business Money, this is what keeps a small community healthy and vibrant. Thurber, Texas is a great example of what I'm talking about. This little Texas town was an oil boom town, coal oil boom town. But when the oil dried up and the coal went away, the town all but died. Except for there's still a few folks that live nearby, and there's a hotel and a castle that's rented out for weddings and parties and all kinds of other stuff, and one restaurant that is still open. It's the Smokestack, and it's a historical landmark, and only small business. This is the small business that's keeping the town alive. The Smokestack is a fantastic place to eat, and if you've ever been there, it's out on I-20. It's out on Interstate 20 as you're going into Fort Worth, coming out of Abilene and going into Fort Worth. So sometime just stop in there and eat. It's a fantastic place to eat, but it is run by family. It's run by the Bennett family, and that family has kept that little restaurant and the other attractions right there in Thurber alive all this time. You could close down everything in Thurber. After all, it's just a little place with a restaurant, a hotel, and a museum. No big deal, right? Except for the fact that if you get online or you actually stop in and eat at the restaurant, you'll find out all of the history about that little bitty boomtown there in Thurber, Texas. Those small businesses are what keeps Thurber alive, and it's a great place to stop and just relax if you're going from one place to another. All right. Small business creates unity within a community. According to New York Times reports that people who live in a small community where they support small business are happier, healthier, and less stressed than those who live in places like Lubbock, Texas. If you were to drive just 50 miles south from Plainview, Texas, you'll find that you get quickly swallowed up in the fast-paced living in Lubbock. Although not a bad place to visit, I've been there a lot. We go to Lubbock a lot. It has many things to offer people, like great places to eat, great places to stay. It's got the South Plains Mall, great places to shop, lots of little stores to shop in, and many activities to keep you entertained. But the unity of the people is not as evident as it is here in Plainview. You see big business and many franchises, but not as many small businesses and small business owners, because big cities are convinced that small business is a thing of the past. So in conclusion, what I want to tell you is small business is not a thing of the past. Small business plays a very important part of keeping a community healthy, strong, and vibrant. Small business is needed to maintain a less stressful lifestyle, leaving out the headaches of big business and corporate franchises. It's not about putting money in someone else's pocket. It's about being supportive of your community, giving back, and creating unity as we learn to serve those who choose to spend locally and purchase our products. It's the satisfaction of putting a smile on someone's face when they come into your store and find that special gift that they're looking for, and they leave satisfied. Or you sit down to what you call a home-cooked meal, and it truly is a home-cooked meal because it's a home-owned business. It's a small business owned by hometown folks that know how to serve their community. If you've ever dared to dream big, consider opening your own business. I am. As soon as I get my degree, those are my plans. I plan to open my own business right here in Plainview, Texas, so that I can support the community that I live in, so that I can give back to the community that is given to me. Give something back to your community. And like the Nike commercial says, just do it.